The world watches with bated breath. Global power dynamics are shifting. A new era is dawning. At the heart of this transformation is the rise of what some are calling the axis of upheaval. This alliance, comprising China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, represents a formidable force. It challenges the established world order, one long dominated by the United States and its allies. The world is witnessing a realignment of power. The implications are far-reaching and profound. The axis of upheaval is not a formal alliance like NATO. Unlike NATO, which has structured agreements and a clear organizational hierarchy, the axis of upheaval operates in a more fluid and decentralized manner. Instead, it is a loose coalition bound by shared interests and grievances. These interests range from economic disparities to political marginalization, and the grievances often stem from a perceived imbalance in global power dynamics. Each member nation feels marginalized by the current global order. They believe that the existing international systems favor a select few, leaving many countries disadvantaged and voiceless in critical global decisions. Each seeks to reshape it to better suit their interests. This desire for change is driven by a need to assert their sovereignty and ensure that their national interests are adequately represented on the world stage. At the forefront of this challenge is a shared opposition to the United States. The U.S., with its significant influence in international affairs, is often seen as the primary architect of the current global order. These nations view American hegemony with suspicion. They argue that U.S. policies and actions frequently undermine their sovereignty and hinder their development. They see it as a threat to their own ambitions and influence. For these nations, American dominance is not just a geopolitical issue but a barrier to their aspirations for regional and global leadership. They are determined to push back against what they perceive as American unilateralism. This resistance is manifested in various forms, from diplomatic disputes to active participation in international forums where they can voice their opposition. This shared opposition provides a powerful unifying force. Despite their diverse backgrounds and individual national interests, these countries find common ground in their collective resistance. It drives these nations together. The coalition is strengthened by their mutual desire to create a more balanced and equitable international system. They find common cause in their desire for a multipolar world, a world where no single nation holds overwhelming power, and where multiple countries can contribute to and benefit from global governance. They envision a world where power is more evenly distributed. This vision includes fairer economic policies, more inclusive political processes, and a commitment to addressing global challenges through collective action and cooperation. The roots of this alliance run deep, stretching back through decades of geopolitical maneuvering and shared struggles. They are found in a shared history of resisting Western influence, a history marked by numerous confrontations and ideological battles. Russia, China, and Iran all have long histories of resisting what they see as Western attempts to undermine their sovereignty. This resistance is not just political, but deeply cultural, rooted in a desire to preserve their unique identities and ways of life. The Cold War cemented these suspicions, creating an environment of mutual distrust and competition. During this period, the world was divided into two major blocs, and the tensions were palpable. Russia and China, in particular, emerged from that era wary of the West. They had witnessed firsthand the lengths to which Western powers would go to maintain their dominance. They are determined to avoid repeating what they see as past mistakes. This determination is evident in their modern military strategies and diplomatic efforts, which are designed to counter Western influence. They are determined to chart their own course, independent of Western dictates. This independence is a source of national pride and a key element of their foreign policies. This shared history provides a solid foundation for cooperation. Their alliances are not just based on convenience but on a deep-seated understanding of each other's struggles and aspirations. It fosters a sense of solidarity among these nations. This solidarity is visible in their joint initiatives and coordinated responses to global events. They see themselves as united against a common adversary. This adversary is often perceived as the Western Bloc, which they believe seeks to impose its values and systems on the rest of the world. They are bound by a shared determination to resist Western pressure. This resistance is not just a political stance, but a fundamental aspect of their national identities, driving their policies and shaping their futures. The axis of upheaval is not just a political or military alliance, it is also an economic force to be reckoned with. These nations are forging deep economic ties. They are creating an alternative economic system that rivals the West. Trade between these nations is booming. They are reducing their reliance on the US dollar. They are establishing alternative payment systems. This economic cooperation is gradually eroding the dominance of the West. This economic cooperation serves several purposes. It reduces their vulnerability to Western sanctions. It strengthens their economic independence. It provides them with a powerful platform for challenging the existing economic order. Section 5: Military Cooperation and Strategic Alliances. In an increasingly interconnected world, military cooperation and strategic alliances have become pivotal in shaping global security dynamics. The axis of upheaval is also strengthening its military cooperation, forging new partnerships and reinforcing existing ones to counterbalance Western influence. Joint military exercises are becoming increasingly common, serving as a platform for these nations to synchronize their tactics and strategies. These exercises allow these nations to enhance their interoperability, ensuring that their forces can operate seamlessly together in times of crisis or conflict. They also send a clear message of defiance to the West, showcasing their unity and readiness to stand against any external threats. Beyond exercises, there is growing evidence of arms sales and technology transfers, which further solidify these alliances. Russia has been a major supplier of advanced weaponry to China and Iran, providing them with cutting-edge technology and military hardware. This military cooperation enhances the capabilities of each member state, allowing them to leverage each other's strengths and resources. This military cooperation is a direct response to the perceived threat from the United States, which maintains a significant military presence around the globe. It is a way for these nations to deter aggression, ensuring that they are prepared to defend their interests and sovereignty. It allows them to project power and influence on the world stage, demonstrating their ability to operate far beyond their borders and assert their strategic interests. These alliances are not just about military might. They also involve diplomatic efforts, economic ties, and intelligence sharing, creating a comprehensive network of cooperation. Collaborative research and development initiatives are underway, focusing on next-generation technologies that could redefine future warfare. Cybersecurity has also become a critical area of cooperation, with nations working together to protect their digital infrastructure from cyber threats. Additionally, these alliances extend to humanitarian efforts, where joint military forces provide disaster relief and support in times of need. Training programs and military academies are also part of this cooperation, with cadets from allied nations learning side by side, fostering mutual understanding and camaraderie. Through international military forums and defense policy discussions, these nations continuously refine their strategies and strengthen their alliances. Cultural exchanges and visits by military leaders further cement these relationships, building trust and mutual respect among allied nations. Joint naval exercises involving aircraft carriers and other naval assets highlight the maritime dimension of these alliances, ensuring control over critical sea lanes. Space has also become a new frontier for military cooperation, with nations collaborating on satellite launches and space operations to enhance their strategic capabilities. Ultimately, these strategic alliances and military cooperation efforts are about building a resilient and united front, capable of facing any challenges that may arise in the future. The axis of upheaval is not just about challenging the West, it is also about shaping the global agenda. These nations are increasingly coordinating their diplomatic efforts. They are presenting a united front in international forums. They often vote together in the United Nations. They advocate for policies that challenge the existing world order. They support each other's positions on issues of mutual interest. This diplomatic alignment gives them a more powerful voice on the global stage. This united front is particularly evident on issues like Syria, Venezuela, and Ukraine. These nations have used their diplomatic clout to counter Western influence. They have provided crucial support to regimes targeted by the West. The emergence of the axis of upheaval has profound implications for the global order. It is accelerating the shift towards a multipolar world. It is challenging the long-held assumptions of American primacy. This shift has the potential to create a more unstable world. The rules and norms that have governed international relations for decades are being challenged. The risk of miscalculation and conflict is increasing. The rise of this axis also has implications for global governance. These nations are demanding a greater role in international institutions. They are pushing for reforms that reflect their interests and values. Despite their growing cooperation, the axis of upheaval is not without its internal challenges. These nations are not natural allies. They have different histories, ideologies, and strategic interests. There are historical tensions between China and Russia. Iran and North Korea are both isolated states with unpredictable behavior. These internal contradictions could limit the long-term cohesion of this alliance. The success of this alliance is not guaranteed. It remains to be seen whether these nations can overcome their differences. Their ability to maintain a united front will be crucial in determining their impact on the world stage. The world is entering a new era. The old certainties are crumbling. The axis of upheaval is a symptom of this larger transformation. It is a reminder that power is shifting. It is too early to say what the ultimate impact of this alliance will be. However, one thing is certain: the world is becoming more complex and unpredictable. In this new world, it is more important than ever to stay informed. We must understand the forces shaping global events. We must be prepared for a future where power is more diffuse and contested. The world is watching. The stakes are high.